All right, welcome to the Straight Red Card here on OLS. We are here with Jonah Freedman, managing editor for MLSsoccer.com. Probably a lot of you also remember him from formerly from Sports Illustrated. Jonah, welcome to the show.
Thanks, long-time listener, first-time interviewee.
Oh yes, well, and hopefully many times after.
Yeah.
We'll see how this goes with the storm front coming in.
Exactly.
But Jonah, I mean, you spent nearly the entire World Cup. Lucky for you, I would have loved to have been there with you, but in South Africa, experiencing what was going on there. Did you get to see all of the U.S. men's team's games while you're in South Africa? And can you give us some feeling of the experience and how it was hanging out with the U.S. fans there?
I did. I was lucky enough to go to all 4 U.S. games. I would have loved to have gone to 7 U.S. games, but, hey, things happen.
Yeah.
It's funny. I mean, I'm totally biased, of course, so I'll say that the U.S. was by far the most exciting team in the field, but I think it's true. I mean, the South Africans were telling me how much fun they were to watch, and
yeah,
they were so exciting. Every game was exciting, edge of your seat. That's what was amazing. I mean, I know the results weren't what we wanted.
Exactly.
And, when you look back at history, it's going to be, well, it's just one more round of 16 exit from the U.S. But, I mean, it was thrilling. It was every game was exciting. Every game went down to the very end. I mean, you really couldn't ask for anything more, given that where we finished.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I was here pulling out my hair just like everybody else for a couple of those games. Before we get to sort of a rundown of how the U.S. did, was there any experience? All right, the craziest experience you had there that you can talk about now without fear of arrest?
There was really nothing really controversial that went on. I mean, the U.S. fans were great, and like you heard, they were the biggest travelers to this World Cup of anyone.
Yep.
And it really did feel like they were everywhere. The only thing that I would say, I just wish U.S. fans could come up with some songs or better chants than just USA, USA, or stuff like that. The culture needs to evolve, because it's kind of funny especially when you're playing against England, and the English fans literally have a different song for every player on the roster.
Yeah.
And then there's the USA fans who just sit there and keep going USA, USA.
Yeah. It is a little mundane. Well, I mean, I sent them, of course, we all sent them our example of maybe something they could sing, the whole Landon Donovan score a goal for me song, but that didn't seem to catch on enough.
Yeah, you need
time.
More, you just need more, you need more exposure, I think.
Yeah.
It'll come with time. It's just like U.S. soccer fandom. It'll come with time.
That's right. We're working on that.
Yeah.
The big question is, I know you were there the whole time, so did you get a chance while you were there with the U.S. players throughout the World Cup? Did you notice any nervousness? Was the intensity palatable? Or did they seem pretty calm and relaxed to you before each game?
I think they were pretty calm and relaxed. And, say what you will about Bob Bradley and his coaching style. I mean, that's one thing that he really just hammered home with them. You have to recognize that you need to be in the moment. You can't get thrown off your game by, the enormity of the situation. Mm-hmm. And I think, he said all along that we have to win that Gold Cup so we can get to the Confederations Cup, so we can experience this whole thing a year in advance. And it sounded like a lot of hokum at the time. It was like, well, of course he's going to say that. But, I honestly believe that, because most of the team that was there had been on that Confederations Cup roster and went through the whole experience last summer.
Right.
And a lot of the guys told us that experience really helped them get grounded. They weren't thrown off by their surroundings, the stadiums, that they really sort of felt comfortable being there and getting into the scene. And I think that helped them enormously.
Yeah, I think the only time that I would say, and get your thoughts on this, that nervousness really seemed to shine through was, that was those first 10 minutes every game when we just couldn't stop anyone outside of one game from scoring an early goal.
Yeah, literally every game. And, if it weren't for the one shot going off the crossbar for Algeria, I mean, it literally would have been all 4 games where we would have been staring at a deficit in the opening 15 minutes. And, as a fan, that drives you crazy. But as a media member, it drives you crazy, because you realize you're going to have to keep asking the same questions over and over again. And, they have to figure out different ways to answer it, which they probably won't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it got old. I mean, I think when it's all said and done, that was the downfall. You can't keep putting yourself in a hole like that and expect to dig out.
Yeah.
And you can say what you will about the character of the team, and Landon Donovan every game he's saying this team has so much character. We have so much fight. We're never going to give up. And yeah, I agree with that. But God, how much easier would it have made it on themselves if they just stopped giving up the early goals and were able to play a controlled game.
Yeah, and not to get too far ahead of ourselves or anything, but because of course, the big problem was that, and we'll get into this more, Rico Clark's mistake that led to Demerit backpedaling almost into his own goal in that last game. One has to wonder, we have enough problems as it is at center, at the CB position this World Cup, and we're looking into the future for youngsters. Does that make you a little nervous? Because it seems to me maybe the left back, right back position seems at least somewhat stable going into the next World Cup. But you look down the line, there's not a whole lot of guys to fill those middle roles, and Bocanegra and Demerit are both going to be old-timers by then and probably won't be on the next World Cup team.
Probably not. Gooch will be 32, right. So I suppose there's a chance because, Bocanegra is 31 right now. It's hard to say. I'm not terribly nervous about it because I think we've seen glimpses that Clarence Goodson can be an effective player.
Right.
And I would have liked to have seen him play more at this World Cup, but I just given the gravity of each game, it just didn't seem likely.
Right. He's no youngster either, by the way.
He's 28, but he's built like a guy who can last a little longer. He's so lanky, and he's known for his jumping ability, so you never know.
Right.
And he's got this great mentality that he was just so happy to be there, and you get the sense that he'll still be hungry to keep contributing. But you're right. There's some thinness in the center back ranks. We bandied this about a lot at the MLSsoccer.com office, and there are a lot of good young center backs in MLS, which is very surprising because it's very hard. I sort of compare it to NFL linemen who come out of college. It's extremely difficult for a college lineman to step into an NFL team and start immediately, just because you have to build your body, you have to grow, you have to learn so much about a different kind of game.
Right.
And I've always considered that to be very similar for center backs. But there are so many young center backs in MLS right now who are just stepping into this role and are showing like their maturity and just the fact that they can play at this level. And I'm thinking, I don't maybe not at the next World Cup, but I'm thinking guys like Omar Gonzalez, Ike Opara, Tim Ream. It's really cool and very encouraging to see. Now, they've got to get into camp. That's the next step. And, I'm looking at the January camp as a time when we might be able to see some of these guys start, what is hopefully a long road with the national team.
And who knows, somebody like Michael Parkhurst might finally step up in Scandinavia.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
Yeah, I hope so. We're all keeping our fingers crossed. Again, I think now's a good time here. What was your general assessment of our performance there? And there are a lot of people here in the United States on all the blogs across. They're debating, is it a letdown because we had this wide open knockout round, or we got where we thought we were going to go in the first place, and isn't that good enough?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. I think objectively, if you were to say where is the U.S. national team program in a world sense right now, you say, yeah, we're probably around the top 16 in the world, and that's where we finished.
Yeah.
I don't think we're at a consistent level of quality yet where we can progress past that, every time down out of the blocks. 2002 was a great experience. I think it was sort of an outlier. I think it was the right team at the right time, and like they say, that stupid cliche in football, anything can happen.
Right.
But no, I believe that we finished where it's a good reflection of where the program is right now. If you had told us before the World Cup, the U.S. will win its group and will get knocked out in the round of 16, you say, wow, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good, considering that England's in the group, that's pretty big.
Yeah.
And, objectively, if you look back at it and say, hey, the U.S. beat Algeria, we're like, well, yeah, we were supposed to beat Algeria. Of course, it didn't go down that way. It was one of the most thrilling experiences maybe in U.S. national team history.
It was, yeah.
But, take it all for what it is. We did well. The pool is the national team pool is growing every year. There's more hope on the horizon than there is disappointment. I think eventually we'll get out of this place where we're stuck right now, but it's not going to happen yet, and we just need to be patient.